here's the background. Obama was in Chicago at a fundraiser, and with some, I guess, some heavy-duty contributors. And the meeting went private, and they asked the press to leave, and the press left. But there's a rule about microphones. The first rule of microphones: when you're around one, assume it's on, no matter what. How many times have I not followed that rule and wound up dropping an F-bomb that went over the air and causes our affiliates to go utterly berserk, which I don't blame them. But that's the rule one of microphones. When you're around one, assume it's on. There was a microphone on where Obama was, and it was a direct feed into the press room, which was about 20 feet away, behind a wall or something. So CBS picked up what Obama was saying, and we're going to play it for you. You can hear him addressing these Republican thug bastards in their attempts to roll back health care reform and restrict Planned Parenthood, on and on and on. So let's just go ahead and play it. This is Barack Obama at a fundraiser with a live mic.
And that's, what the budget debate was all about, was can we transport issues that have very little to do with the budget and have everything to do with a particular agenda, and can we use the budget as a way to chip away? So, they had a provision on repealing health care. They had a provision on basically repealing the EPA. They had a provision on making sure that we didn't do anything on climate change. And I remember at one point in the negotiations, one of Boehner's staff people pipes up and says, "You don't understand, Mr. President. We've lost on on health care. We've lost on the EPA. We've given that up. We've got to have something for our to sell to our caucus." And I said to them, let me tell you something. I spent 1.5 years getting health care passed. I had to take that issue across the country, and I paid significant political costs to get it done. The notion that I'm going to let you guys undo that in a 6-month spending bill? He said, you want to repeal health care? Go at it. We'll have that debate. But you're not going to be able to do that by nickel and diming me in the budget. You think we're stupid? And that, but that is we're going to see this again. We're going to see this on the debt limit vote. This is going to be the strategy going forward. Trying to do things that they can't do legislatively through under the guise of cutting spending. I mean, on health care, eliminating the health care bill would cost us $1 trillion. It would add $1 trillion to the deficit. So when Paul Ryan says his priority is to make sure that we're, he's just being America's accountant and trying to, be responsible. This is the same guy who voted for 2 wars that were unpaid for, voted for the Bush tax cuts that were unpaid for, voted for the prescription drug bill that cost as much as my health care bill but wasn't paid for.
Yeah, well, Paul Ryan is a dumbass. I mean, come on. There's nothing that Ryan says. What is he, the chairman of Finance Committee or something? I don't even know. He comes up with this idea. What they've done now, House Republicans forced through this partisan budget blueprint today, that if it ever became law, which it will not, would cut federal spending by an estimated $5.8 trillion over the next decade, essentially eliminating Medicare. That has no chance of passage in the Democratic-controlled Senate. But it's going to be the blueprint that these House scum the Republicans bring up every time there is something else, another budget, any kind of appropriations, any talks with the Senate over how to reduce annual federal deficits, yada, 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 yada. But it's nonsense. Paul Ryan, who, I don't know, Paul Ryan all of a sudden, he's got a Limbaugh complex, you know what I'm saying? Or a Glenn Beck complex, strutting around like cock of the walk, like, ooh, I am the man. No, you're not. You're a punk. You're not a man. You're not the man. You're not a man. You're a punk. You're a little boy who's playing way out of your league. The vote in the House on this Republican blueprint was drafted by Paul Ryan, Republican of Wisconsin. What the hell has happened in Wisconsin? Oh, my God. The vote was absolutely on party lines, 235 to 193. Not a single Democrat voted for it. 4 Republicans voted against it. They must have been drunk. Oh, no, they must have been teabaggers. That's right. 4 teabaggers said, no, goddammit, we want to close everything. This doesn't go far enough. So it was strictly a party line vote. Anytime you see a Republican voting no on something put together by another Republican, you know that it just wasn't vicious and mean and hateful enough. That's all that means. That doesn't mean that there were 4 Republicans who all of a sudden developed some sort of a moral principle to their governance, or developed some kind of an ethical standard, or all of a sudden decided to be a decent human being. No, it just means that it didn't go far enough for these greedy bastards, so they voted no. So Ryan then said, the spending spree is over. We cannot keep spending money we don't have. Well, if that's the case, punk, why don't you go after the Pentagon budget? We now spend $1 trillion a year when you count everything. The official budget is what, around 800,000 or million, 800 million, or 800 billion, excuse me. Jesus, these numbers just keep getting bigger and bigger. $800 billion, that's the part we know about. The rest of it is the stuff on the so-called black budget, the black defense budget, where nobody's supposed to know about it, This is money we use to pay off people like Hamid Karzai and Halliburton and, the real vampires, the real sons of bitches who are determined to just devour this country. So listen, punk Ryan, you want to do something? You really think the spending spree is over? Start there. Start there. Start with the war budget, the murder budget. Go ahead, Paul Ryan. Start there. That's step 1 for you. Punk. You know what step 2 is? Make certain that American corporations and the American mega-rich pay their goddamn share. Gee, what a radical idea. Well, there's Malloy talking class warfare again. You bet your ass I am. So Ryan, you punk, you bully, instead of going after working class people who are struggling just to keep their heads out of the muck, instead of going after poor people who are sinking in the muck, instead of going after kids and women and old people, you cowardly bastard, go after the people that have the money. Be like Willie Sutton when they busted him and said, Willie, why do you keep robbing banks? And he said, because that's where the money is. Paul Ryan, the spending spree is over. Well, Ryan, you're just like your buddy John Kyle over in the Senate. You're a liar, you're a coward, and you're eaten up with hate. God, I wish these people would just get off my planet.